I guess, a philosophy about grief and mourning. And I think there's three important aspects to a funeral. When someone dies, I think there should be witnessing, I think there should be ceremony, and I think the public should be invited, or at least the larger family circle. Witnessing really falls under your purview. So, in your experience, how does witnessing the body, whether in a traditional viewing, funeral home, or just a private farewell, impact mourning and grief?
So, from a personal perspective, I can say seeing is believing. From a professional standpoint, I can definitely attest to the fact that families are so much better when they come in and actually see their person, participate in that way with their person. Not having a degree in psychology, I can't speak to all of that, but just in dealing over the last 20 something years, families are so much better when they come in and can even say a few words to their loved one. They can see they're more peaceful than the last time they saw them. Their person is not in pain anymore. They're comforted by all of their favorite things. To me, it makes all the difference. It makes a positive step in the journey of grief.
Yeah. I was thinking when you were talking that I think it is the bridge between living and the person dying, and grief and mourning and someone has died. I think we need that affirmation.
Yes.
And I had a friend of mine who asked me if she should have a viewing of some sort. And the question I posed to her is, and I don't think our minds allow us to think this way. And that is, you're never going to see that person again. Because our expectation is, because we've always seen that person for our whole life, whatever, that we're going to see them tomorrow. And at worst, it's a long vacation, and we're going to see them in a week or a month. And it's not really possible to tolerate the idea immediately when someone dies that they are never going to see that person again.
Right.
So I think that witnessing part is affirmation. Oh my gosh, this person really died. Luckily, they're at peace. They look at peace. You've done your job properly and well. And so there can be that transition to, I have to now mourn that they're no longer with me.
Right.
I think it's a very powerful thing. And do you have more to add? As I said that, is there?
That sums up perfectly. Perfectly.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly powerful. And just to kind of circle back how we first started this, is that really our primary job as funeral directors, I think in culture, is to take care of that body, because it was precious vessel for a long time for someone, even if it was a short time, a valuable time, and that the rest of us who are surviving need to come to terms with that person and that vessel is no longer with us.
It's funny you say that. There's something I've been thinking about, and not really sure the best way to put it into words, but I think I've come to the correct conclusion that oftentimes we hear people as a defense mechanism say, "Mom's not there. That's just a shell. That's just a shell. Nothing's there." And I understand why we say that. But I look at it as more than that. And the best way I can explain that, if you take, for example, your childhood home, and it's where your brothers and sisters grew up with you, family pets, birthday parties, holidays, summers in the backyard, that home hold a lot of events, a lot of memories. The time comes and your family sells that house and they move on. The next time you happen to be in the neighborhood and you drive past that house, you don't look at it and say, oh, that's a nice building, and continue on your way.
Right.
If that house were knocked down, I don't think there's any person who wouldn't have a feeling of, oh, that was our childhood home.
Yeah.
Have some sort of sentimental from the memories. I think of a person in that regard.
Yeah.
There were memories surrounding that person.
Yeah.
There was love.
Yeah.
It's not just a shell. It's who your mother was. That's still her body.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at and why I take care of them with the level of attentiveness and detail that I do. That was someone's mom.
Yeah.
Not just a shell.
I've never thought of it before, but I love the way you put that. And I think it is that transitional period of time that we have the opportunity to do where we can leave the vessel and take the memory of the person
Yes.
with us, right? So
Yes.
we can acknowledge that the person is no longer in that vessel, so to speak,
Yes.
and then carry them with us. But we got to let go of the vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you work closely with the arranging funeral directors and often directly with families. In my experience, that's unique and special. Why do you do that?
It's my goal to, I don't want to say be perfect. It might be. It's my goal to do the best I can and to meet and even exceed a family's expectations. And I don't believe that I can achieve that with guesswork. I can make educated guesses. But I find that when I collaborate directly with the funeral directors who have met with these families firsthand, I can get a sense of what are they looking for? What do they want? What are their concerns? What are their thoughts? What are their requests? And even better, when I get a chance to meet directly with families or even through a phone call with these families, just find out exactly what are you expecting? What have you seen at other funerals that you're not comfortable with, that you know that you don't want or that you do want? The communication, I'm welcoming that 100% of the time. I can't get more information. So anything the funeral directors have to let me know about, I'm open to. Anything the families want to request, or, I mean, sometimes they have questions that they're not sure, you know, the arrangement conference is the time to ask those things, or they've made arrangements, then have gone home and are starting to think about the whys and the hows, and I'm more than happy to answer those questions because that's important.
Very good. I think that it is very unique. You use the word I love, collaboration.
Yeah.
And in my experience, most funeral home groups don't have that collaborative
Right.
relationship between the care center and the arranging funeral directors. And I know that's one thing that you researched and studied and, you know, brought into our organization. We have 5 funeral homes and the cremation business, and it's complicated. Funeral directors are running all over the place. And to have that collaborative effort, I think makes a tremendous difference.
It does.
With the other word you use is expectation. So to have people not expecting too much or too little, funeral directors and family, I think makes for a much better experience.
I do too.
Good. Well, thanks for doing that.
You're welcome.